What assistive technology and aids do I have, use, and find helpful being blind or visually impaired? Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, it's Carrie from Live Accessible. Me being legally blind or visually impaired and Pablo being totally blind, we use a lot of different assistive technology and aids to help us on a daily basis. And today I wanted to share what we have and use in hopes that it could help you and inspire you if you're looking for more assistive technology or aids to help you live more accessible. So I'm actually going to split this video up into two different videos, and this video is going to focus more on low-tech solutions and talking products and CCTV'S, a lot of things that are more specifically made for people who are blind or visually impaired. In another video, I'm going to talk more about smartphones, tablets, computers, different applications and programs for smartphones and also for the computer, and braille displays and things like that. By the way, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. We do videos on technology, tips, and encouragement for people who are blind, visually impaired, and sighted supporters. So please subscribe and hit the bell for more videos like these. Before we get started, what kind of technology and aids do you guys use? Leave it in the comments below. So let's get started with what we have and what we use. So first on the list is bump dots. We use bump dots all over the house, and I've actually made a video all about bump dots, but basically they're just little markers that you can stick to pretty much anything like microwaves or washing machines, just so that you can find and locate the different buttons or options, especially when they're not accessible. You can check out that video, but you can also just use different things from the craft store. You can use rubber bands and kind of be inventive in that way if you don't want to get bump dots. For us, we just find it really convenient to use bump dots. We also have a lot of different talking clocks around the home, except now with little Pablo, he really likes the talking clocks, so we don't end up using them as much as we used to because he's always going around and changing the times. But Pablo also has a braille watch that he uses sometimes, and they also have talking watches and even keychain talking clocks, which I find really cool. But honestly, nowadays I just end up using my phone or Alexa or Google Assistant. We also use a talking scale. We have a body scale that also tells you your body fat percentage, which I don't usually like to do because I don't like to hear what it tells me. And we also have a food scale, which we should use more because it's supposed to help you eat healthier. We also have a talking label wand, which I have done a video in the past about, which I will link. But it's basically like the pen friend, and it allows you to make audio labels. So instead of taking a piece of masking tape and writing a label or using a braille labeler, you can just stick a little sticker and have this machine device that looks like a pen, and you can record your voice label to those stickers and put them on medicines or food products, makeup products, CDs, anything like that. It's also something really helpful for homeschooling little Pablo. I've made a couple different little simple like ABC book for him and a numbers book for him that uses the label wand. Pablo uses a talking tape measure, which is pretty good. I don't know about how it does with very precise measurements like with carpentry. I know somebody who does work with wood who does use one, but he also uses some kind of caliper measurement device. But the talking tape measure works pretty well for general things and, you know, measuring furniture or things like that. Another thing that we find useful are voice recorders. Pablo and I have a little collection around the home of different voice recorders, and sometimes, you know, we can always write a note or make a note on our smartphones and everything, but sometimes having a dedicated voice recorder is very useful, especially in a lot of different circumstances, and they have so many different kinds. And there is one that my dad has, which I think is really cool. That's very accessible, and it will read all the menus and everything like that, which I am going to do a video on in the future. Pablo uses a color reader called the Rainbow 2 color reader, which I've done a video about in the past, and it just has a sensor. You put it to the piece of clothing and you press the button and it'll tell you the color. A lot of people also use different apps, but Pablo is more comfortable with a color reader. Of course, Pablo and I use canes, the white cane. We have a little collection of canes, some of them broken and some extra ones and some that we got for free. We have done videos all about canes in the past, which I will link as well. And so we find canes very useful, and it just gives you a lot of independence. Along with the label wand, we have a Braille labeler. It's a pretty old one where you have to turn the dial to the Braille cell that you want, and you push a button and it brailles out labels for you, and then you cut it, and it's a piece of sticky tape where you can put on different products and things like that that you want to label. We also have received a free money reader from the US Department of Treasury, which I've also done a video about, which is free for those who reside in the United States, though you can also use a lot of different apps on iOS and Android. I have a BookPort Plus, and Pablo and I both have a Blaze ET, which is a book player, voice recorder, internet radio, FM radio, all these different things. And sometimes it's just easier to not use a smartphone and have buttons, because you don't even have to look at it and you can access everything just using buttons.
1 second, please.
We also have the book player from the National Library Services for the Blind and Physically Handicapped, which we get some of the cartridges in the mail, and we also can download from online from Bard. And we all have one, including little Pablo, which he loves to play with. And because I'm visually impaired, I still have some vision. So I have different magnifiers. So I have a SmartLux by Eschenbach, which is a 5-inch portable CCTV. I have a Zoom Max Snow 7 HD, as well as a Zoom Max Butterfly with a 3.5-inch screen. Just remember that I used to work at a low vision center, so I kind of got to play with all different types of magnifiers, and I ended up with a little collection. But honestly, I mostly use my phone with the app called WeZoom, and I kind of use that more than anything these days. But I do also use a lot is a more desktop CCTV, but it's also transportable. It's by Freedom Scientific. It's the TOPAZ PhD with a 15-inch screen, and it folds, which I really like. It has a battery, so you can bring it around home. Little Pablo and I have brought it to the library so I can, read some books to him. For me, I mostly use my phone when I'm reading short text, but if it's a longer, like a form, or if it's a book or something that will take a lot more time to read, I prefer using a bigger screen. And so that's helpful for me, and I just love that it has a battery and can fold, and I can take it along wherever I go. So those are some of the things that Pablo and I use. I'm probably missing a couple things, but stay tuned for part 2, and that I hope to release next week. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more videos to help you live accessible. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.